nerd on your shirt today.
That's right. Good morning.
You know, I was poking around on the my967.net website, and I went over to I was looking for things about our beloved Bob Kennedy, Bob Allen, and then I looked at your page, Gage, and your live cams are on your DJ page.
Yep.
That's awesome.
That's right.
You've shown them to me before, but I didn't know that they were on my967.net.
That's right. Yeah. Beautiful birds. I get them all every day.
Gage has some really fun animal cams all around his
literally everywhere.
Yeah, his forest. You're like the male equivalent of like Snow White. Like
pretty much.
The forest creatures talk to you.
Oh no, I'm just gonna picture birds landing on your shoulders and your head. You walking around at home with birds everywhere
when
on
I
you.
went to Hawaii a couple of years ago, literally wild birds down there. They're not afraid of humans. So I just stuck my arm out, and all of a sudden I had like 5 pigeons on my arm because I was feeding them.
I'm going to be disappointed every day I come in here and you don't walk in with a bird on your arm.
Birds on your arm.
New demands from me.
That's awesome.
Well, the bosses would be like, "Are they going to poop everywhere?" You know?
Yeah. Well, the diapers. I don't know.
It's for Molly. You're going to have to deal with it.
Well, that is just the perfect thing because with Preservation Parks with Beth today, we are going to be talking about some of the wonderful things happening in your neck of the woods this summer. We'll do that in the second half of the program. But in the first half, we're going to talk about some books. What sort of things are you reading this week, Molly?
Well, I read a really interesting book, this is always a fascinating intro. So I read a parenting book for my cat. And it actually is a really great one. Every now and again, I do pull something like this out because I think as a librarian, it's my job to read a variety of things. And I have nieces and nephews, and it helps me judge my sisters. So I read a really great book that actually was very unjudgmental. It's called The Yes Brain: How to Cultivate Courage, Curiosity, and Resilience in Your Child. I'm a huge believer in Second City's yes and promotion of customer service and management.
Yeah.
And so I was like, is this like the kid version? And I think it kind of is. So these are the authors who wrote The Whole Brain Child and No Drama Discipline, Dan J. Siegel and Tina Payne Bryson. Very well-respected scientists. What I love about this is they talk about their own kids and how they talk about these theories. And you can't do it all the time correctly. Like they talk about how they don't get it right every time. So what I love is this is about, you've been in that store and you've seen that mom and that kid who just like drops on the grocery store floor screaming.
Yep.
And
or the library.
Or the library. Or anywhere.
Or the park. Yeah,
exactly. Or you're anywhere and they're unhappy with something and everything comes to a stop. They talk about how you can be gentle but also get to your point of making them more resilient, more able to handle disappointment.
Yeah.
So you start by comforting them. That's the first step is you comfort them because at that point they're not ready to learn. And once they have calmed down, you can start talking about what happened and how can we handle this differently?
Oh, yeah.
How can we find those yeses? How can we move to that next, stage? It talks about curiosity once again, the fact that our kids aren't bored enough. If you all remember summer, and we were bored. I remember sitting in a tree singing a song that went like, bored, 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 in my tree with my neighbors. We're all singing bored. And then we came up with some fantastic like play. They're talking about that importance of play, of leaving kids without their devices, and that's tricky today. They need that even to learn the technology, but having time, not overscheduling. And they're like, it's so hard not to overschedule. And then, the author or Tina talks about how her kids are completely overscheduled, but making sure that you're leaning into the things they love when you're doing that and not the things that you want them to do.
Right.
So I just found this a great parenting book. It made me feel good about my sisters doing a great job. They've done a great job. Those are great kids.
Yeah.
But, in this tricky world, they give you just a different perspective, a way to move forward. So if you're feeling like your kids are out of control and you're failing, this is a good book to read because you're not failing. They got a couple tips to make your life a little easier and help you raise those great adults that your goal is to make them great adults.
Yeah, and sometimes I've even found that when I loosen my expectations, when I loosen my grip of control, you think like, oh, I'm a parent, I have to be in control. When I just like loosen that a little bit and sit back, I can watch a lot of magic happening.
Yes.
One day my girls, I wasn't really in the mood. It was a Friday night. My husband was out. And so it was just me and the girls. And they were like, Mom, what if we took all of the candy out of like the Halloween candy bin and we dumped it all over the floor? And I was like, I don't care.
Yes.
and then
yes.
and then they were like, what if we, because it was on our like linoleum kitchen floor, what if we like belly slid into the candy? And I was like, cool, have fun. and the funny thing is like, it wasn't hurting anything.
No.
If the candy was ruined, fine, I'd throw it away. And then they giggled. My two daughters, who rarely get along,
Yes.
giggled with each other, belly sliding into candy for like an hour.
Yeah.
It was bliss.
Yes.
And had I been like, no, we can't do that. It's, something edible. We don't, whatever. Like, just getting to yes made it so much more enjoyable for that evening, for all of us.
And trying to get to that point that they know how to handle themselves. They know when something goes wrong.
Right.
They start being able to negotiate with their friends when there are fights so that nobody needs to step in.
Right.
Sometimes as adults, we want to fix those problems. And sometimes we just have to walk away from them and let the kids figure it out, because one day they're going to be grown-ups in an office or a library, and adults with different opinions are going to come in, and they're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And so we can't stop it at this developmental age. This is when they learn how to deal with things that are difficult and how to make up and see when you're wrong, and how do you handle when somebody else is mean. Unfortunately, it doesn't stop.
Right.
So it's creating that curiosity, creativity, that resilience that we want children to have as they get older.
So this is
but
called,
still in a very loving way.
Yeah, it's called The Yes
The
Brain.
Yes Brain.
Who's it written by?
Dan Siegel and Tina Payne Bryson.
Awesome. Thank you, Molly.
You are welcome.
Well, Beth, you were saying that you're reading lots of creative non-books these days, or books that aren't necessarily for you, but for some other people. Do you want to share anything?
Sure. I am reading the softball rule book.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
I am coaching my daughter's coach pitch softball team.
Fun.
This summer.
Yes.
And I just want to make sure I've played softball,
Right.
so I'm familiar, but it's amazing just putting everything down into a book and be ready for any situation that comes up.
And it changes from age to age.
yes.
I would need to refresh myself the difference between coach pitch, and do they differentiate between slow and fast pitch these days too?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Yeah. But one day.
Yeah.
I would need to figure out what sports ball I was playing, which type ball to grab, all of that.
Right.
Exactly. Well, that's a lot of fun.
It's fun.
I hope
Yeah.
your season goes well.
Thank you.
Well, I have been kind of living in a Broadway world for a minute.
Oh, I love it when you're in a Broadway world. Are you going to break into song?
No, not today. I'd probably
Okay.
be breaking some sort of like copyright FCC or something. I don't know. They don't have the rights yet. No. But so the nominations for the Tony Awards came out earlier this week actually. And so we've got Some Like It Hot really dominated. And Juliet is a new one that really dominated. Shucked is a new one as well. It's about corn.
Okay, why am I now like my top thing I need to see is Shucked?
Shucked, yes.
Shucked.
You do
is
need
it
to
set in Ohio?
No, I don't
Is
think
it
so.
set in the Dublin area?
Oh my gosh, yes,
Right, with the
please.
massive corn
Yeah,
sculptures.
right.
Yeah,
That
but
was
you
like
don't-
my
they're not
first
yellow,
oddity.
They're all, they're all concrete.
Yes.
So there were a lot of really, really great nominees. So Some Like It Hot, it's a jazzy reimagining of the classic comedy film
Yes.
that about two musicians on the run. That was really the one that got a whole bunch of nominations, 13 nods
Nice.
for the Tony Awards that will be coming in June. And then a whole bunch of other ones. New York was also included as well. And Juliet, Shucked, New York. They all scored 9 nominations apiece. And Best Musical Honors, lots of other things. There's another really cool one that came out this year. It's called Kimberly Akimbo. It's the story of a teenager who has a medical condition that causes her to age rapidly.
Ooh.
So she's, in this teenage body, but she looks like she's, a 75-year-old woman.
Is it based on the real disease? Because there is a real disease that does that.
Yes, it is. So it is based on that. And it's got some creative casting, of course, because you're probably going to have an older adult woman playing the part of this teenager. But, so and it's just basically about how she navigates that world. So that's a really fun, creative one, too. So I've just kind of been checking all that out. On top of that, a couple weeks ago, I renewed my Broadway Across America subscription for my Broadway in Columbus tours that are coming. And there are some really, really good ones coming next year. And if you haven't renewed a subscription, or you want to get a subscription, or you just want to figure out what are all these musicals about that are coming, just pop onto the library, use your library card, go to Hoopla. Hoopla has tons of music that's available, and a lot of them are musical soundtracks. So some of the ones that are coming next year, if you have never listened to them before, The Lion King, the musical, is coming. They also have Mamma Mia, which is the music of ABBA, which is coming. And then there are, let's see, what other fun ones are coming?
I know there's one your girls are really excited about.
Are you talking about Frozen?
It's very cold.
Yes.
And yes.
Frozen is coming later this summer. That's part of this season. And yes, I did just, I had 2 tickets for it, and I made it 4 because I couldn't choose just one daughter to go with me.
I only love one of you, and now you will know which one.
Yes. Well, actually, I did have a structure to make it fair, because one had gone to see Elf the musical with me in December, and I was going to take the other to see Frozen the musical. Plus, she'd be a little bit older by that time, so I thought she'd be a little bit more mature and prepared for it. But they're all going, so I couldn't say no. But anyway, check out, visit Hoopla. It's an easy app to download. Just go to your app store, look up Hoopla or Hoopla Digital, connect your library card with it, and then go to the music tab. There's tons and tons of musical soundtracks, and the great thing about Hoopla is you download it on demand, so there's no wait. There's a bit of a limit. You can only do 6 per month, but it's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good. So we're going to take a quick break, and on the other half, we're going to talk with Beth McCollam from Preservation Parks of Delaware County about some of the fun things coming up this summer. And I am so happy for that forecast. I'm just like, I need the sunshine. I need the warmth. If you're looking for ways to get out and enjoy the sunshine and the warmth, you have lots of opportunities this weekend. Tonight in downtown Delaware is a First Friday.
Always fun.
It's game night. There's going to be cornhole tournaments, so come out, play the games. I believe today at City of Powell is their Touch-a-Truck event. Go and check that out as well. And of course, one of the best ways that you can get out and enjoy Mother Nature is in the Preservation Parks of Delaware County.
Absolutely.
So joining us today, we have Beth McCollam, and we're going to talk about some of the wonderful things happening in our parks. Where do we even begin, Beth?
Where do we begin?
I know.
Well, first of all, we will be at First Friday tonight.
Awesome.
So
Fun.
come visit us.
Cool.
Yes.
Will you maybe have some pelts for people to check out?
I'm not sure. It's a surprise to me.
Yes. Who knows what we'll get into.
Yes.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So one of the things that this time of year we always have you on, we like to talk about Summer Letterbox.
Absolutely.
What in the world is the Summer Letterbox hunt?
Yeah, so Summer Letterbox is part scavenger hunt, part geocache, part Pokemon Go.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay.
I know nothing about that as Molly pulls up her Pokemon Go.
Are we in a gym? Do we need to flex our muscles in a Poke gym? Yeah.
I do.
So what you could do, beginning Memorial Day weekend, you could stop at any Delaware County library and you could register for the Summer Letterbox. Pick up your booklet, or you could register online starting that weekend. And you go out, explore at least 4 of the parks in the booklet, follow the clues. You'll find a letterbox, which is essentially a box, like a school box.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, what's a letterbox?
Yeah,
Well,
like a pencil box.
It's like a pencil box. Yeah. And you'll find a little notebook in there. Last summer we did something where you had to draw the picture that was in there.
Love it.
In your little
Your
booklet.
guide, your booklet.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you could leave a little note for the next person.
Yeah.
So it's really fun. Kids love reading it and like figuring out, like, do I need to be at this tree? Do I need to be at this stump, this rock?
Right.
You know, so it's really exciting.
And sometimes the parents have a lot of fun interpreting it too. Like, I think it means this, but actually, I see that tree over in the distance.
We found lately that it's not just for kids. A lot of adults like to get out and explore the parks in a whole new way.
Yes.
You know, you could be one who goes to parks and do regular hikes.
Yes.
But to experience a park in a new way is so exciting, and you get to see different things that you may have not picked up on before.
Right, because a lot of times you incorporate a theme or kind of like a story in the adventure of finding that particular box. Like one year it might have been like fungi, you know, and so as you walk around, like look at the bottom of this tree and you see this type of mushroom, you know.
Exactly.
And so it brings new things into your perspective when maybe otherwise you're looking at the birds.
And kids are absorbing that so much. I mean, I love it when I'd get in the car with my nieces and nephews and they were little and they were like, Aunt Molly, did you know this type of tree is edible?
What?
We're going to eat the whole thing.
No way.
And I was like, yes, we will. Like, it'd be sassafras. And I'm like, yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we've got Summer Letterbox.
Yeah. So at the end of 4, you complete 4 parks, you get a prize.
Cool.
So, and we always try to write the letterbox so it corresponds with the library's summer reading theme.
Oh, you're having fun this year then, aren't you?
Well, we took a little spin on it. So it's about relationships in nature.
Okay.
Love it.
I love it.
Yeah. So, you know, for an example, pollinators. You know, your butterflies need certain plants to survive. So that's a friendship.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I love that.
Yes. So you'll get to learn all about relationships in
I
nature.
love it.
I was just explaining to my kids what pollinators are, and they were, because they don't like bees. And I was like, oh, but bees are our friends. That's
They're the
good.
best.
They are the best.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you also were mentioning that there's some other fun things happening this summer that we library lovers also have a tie to, like a book club.
There is. So we have our regular book club at Gallant Farm.
Right.
So you can find that information in our summer program guide, and it's also on our website under the calendar. But this summer, we have our theme is forests, and our exhibit is called My Neck of the Woods. And we're really excited about this. So you can stop in at Shale Hollow, learn about My Neck of the Woods. But on top of that, we are doing a book club for My Neck of the Woods.
That's great.
And they're books focused on forests.
Yes.
So that's going to be at Emily Traphagen, Shale Hollow, and Gallant Woods.
Oh, it rotates.
Oh, I love
It'll
it.
rotate. It's for people ages 16 and older.
Wonderful.
And we have 3 different books. Let's see, it's called The Trees by Conrad Richer, The Silent Sky by Alan Eckert, and The Overstory by Richard Powers.
My grandfather was the biggest Alan Eckert. I think I've read tons of them just because they make me closer to like his memory.
Yeah.
He had every Alan Eckert book that was.
Well, you have to go through the library. And pull
I
this
am
one out.
going to have to pull that one out for sure.
We might even have to help you put together like a book list, because I have so many other
I
ideas
know.
that are coming into my brain.
Well,
One of
and
my-
how many times do I bring up Grandma Gatewood's Walk?
Yes.
Grandma
yes.
Gatewood's Walk is like my favorite book of all time.
And that's one on Libby right now that I think you can download right now.
Yes.
And also one of my favorite, Bill Bryson's A Walk in the Woods, which is hilarious. The funniest woods book that you'll ever read.
There is something I love reading those hiking books, and I get done and I'm like, I'm going to go do the Appalachian Trail.
Nope.
And then reality kind of strikes that I, 1, can't take like 6 months off in a row, and 2, should probably get in shape, and 3, bears.
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 Period.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why we read books, so we
Yes.
could live through those stories.
Exactly. Though I am starting to formulate my bear plan. Just for the record, I may solve that one yet.
Yeah. Yeah. You can do it. So, Beth, you gave a little tease. You said My Neck of the Woods, and is that a display exhibit that you have this summer? Okay, tell us more about
So every
that.
summer we have an exhibit, and it goes through our theme, which is this year's forest. So a lot of our programming is around forests. But we focus on the summer exhibit, and this summer it's called My Neck of the Woods.
Yeah.
So everyone can visit Shale Hollow Park, and while you're there, take a break from the heat or the rain or whatever Mother Nature's throwing at us.
Right.
And we are putting together this beautiful exhibit. and it talks about the different forests around the world and what forests do for us. So, it's for people, and they provide products and jobs like coffee and
Oh, I love it. Yes.
Right.
Those beans are important.
Those
The
beans are
coffee and
so
cacao.
important.
Right.
They provide habitat for
Yes.
animals, right? And they also help, stabilize soil and help recover from natural disasters.
Yeah.
So much we could learn from the forest.
I
Yes.
love one of my favorite forest facts is that I forget which forest it is, but I've watched the nature documentary 5 million times. There is a forest that is basically the world's largest organism because it's all grown together so much that the roots are intertwined. The canopy of the forest is basically one, and so because the entire forest is so intertwined that it is one organism. It is not 5 million trees. It is basically one tree. I mean, I'm like, nature.
Isn't nature
I love
amazing?
it.
Amazing. The best.
Amazing.
The
Yeah.
best.
Amazing. And we're so fortunate here in Delaware to have so many different parks and
Right.
natural
Yes.
spaces and green spaces, 2 state parks,
Right.
Yeah.
11 county parks, our city parks. Like, how
I
fortunate
know.
are we?
And get your kids out there. We're losing
Absolutely.
things like summer camps. I was a summer camp counselor for 2 summers, lived in a platform tent. We cooked our meals on an open fire. We had to gather the wood. We had to source everything. Kids eat that up. We think, kids who would come in and be like, I don't like bugs. Next thing I know, they're bringing me spiders and then help me name the ones in the tent. And it was great because there wasn't all that fear.
And, you were talking earlier about kids being bored.
Yes.
You could come to the park and do letterbox,
Yeah.
but you know what? Take some time and
Yeah.
just let them explore. Shale Hollow is a great place. Walk in the creek.
Yes.
Feel, that beneath your feet.
Does
Play
Shale
with the
Hollow-
stick. Walk around with a stick in your hand. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Does Shale Hollow have is it called the Natural Playground?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that's my
Yes.
favorite. Yes, go visit Shale Hollow. First of all, look at the rock structures. What are those called?
The concretion.
The concretions.
Yes.
Look at the
Yeah.
concretions. Those are amazing.
And there's information about how the concretions were formed millions of years ago.
Yes.
I love
So,
that.
yeah.
And kids love it too.
They do.
Yeah.
They
really
do.
do.
Touch it.
Yes.
Like experience it.
Get dirty.
Yes.
We
It's
love it.
okay to get dirty.
It's okay to get dirty. I bring a change of clothes for my kids.
And that's a good
Yes.
idea.
And towels.
That's a good idea.
Insider tip.
Different shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If people want to learn more about preservation parks, where do they go?
Our website is preservationparks.com. And stay tuned. The next couple of weeks, we will have a new look for our website.
Ooh, I can't
You're
wait.
doing
So,
lots of wonderful
yes.
work, Beth, as always. We always appreciate you joining us on this show.
I love being here.
Sharing us. I'm so glad you could join us in studio. Before we go, we're going to talk about some of the things coming up at the library this week. I wanted to give a plug to our friends at the Delaware Public Health District. And their WIC peer helper is going to be joining us at the Orange Branch Library on Monday, May 8th, from 5:30 to 6:30 for a breastfeeding class.
That's fantastic.
We're very excited about that. And
Yeah,
that WIC
we've
peer
had
helper.
a lot of success with that. I also want to point out that coming up Monday, May 15th, we have our Medicare classes with SourcePoint.
Yes.
We believe this is a series of 3. We're really looking forward to you jumping in, hoping to do that series again as well.
Yeah, I think
and
Mondays is part 1, and then
Yes.
in a couple weeks, then we'll do part 2.
and that's from 10 to 12 at our Delaware Main Library.
Yeah, and I think one of the other things, and Hannah gave a tease to this last week, but on Tuesday, May 9th at 5:30, our Liberty Evening Book Club is meeting in person at the Liberty Branch Library, and they are discussing Remarkably Bright Creatures. That's the one that has a special narrator from the point of view of an octopus.
I am going to have to read this.
we
mean-
had it teased to us several years ago at an in-service, and I didn't get the ARC, and I want it so bad. That one's super cute. And of course, in about a week from today, on Friday, May 12th, you can head over to our Ostrander Branch Library if you are a homeschool family and bring your kiddos of school age from 1 to 2. They're going to be giving their book club presentations. They do that once a month.
And it is a blast. If your kid is nervous about speaking, it's such a welcoming, friendly
Yes.
group that this is a great place for them to get comfortable talking to in front of other kids and people.
Yep. So there's always lots happening at the library. Visit us at delawarelibrary.org or download the app. And until next week, we will see you in the stacks. But wait, I need to thank everyone. Thank you, Gage.
Yep.
Thank you, Molly. Thank
Yes.
you, Beth. We also wanted to extend our deepest sympathies to
Yeah.
our friends at WDLR. We love you like family. We loved Bob like family too. And in his honor, we brought some hamburger and cinnamon rolls. So we hope you enjoy that and some coffee this morning while we think of Bob. So again, until next week, we will see you in the stacks.